In this video, we're going to talk about the forearm, supination, pronation. So we already did our approach. We jumped in the air. We got 3 parts of hip-shoulder separation. We got our scap going, our horizontal abduction going. We have some rolling back, some layback. But then there's a part where you need to get from all of that and then figure out how to get to this position and follow through. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit in this video.
And this has to do with ball contact too. Actually, I want to hear you talk about ball contact, so I can understand what the forearm has to do. Tell me about ball contact.
I mean, and people in volleyball often just say hand contact. How do I do it? Do I have a really stiff hand? Should I keep it super loose? Do I do wrist extension and flexion, or is it more pronation and ulnar and radial deviation? And because your wrist can do this, can also do this, it's totally different, and then it can be really stiff or really loose. I usually have been a big fan of, hey, focus on getting your hand to actually hit somewhere on the ball, number one. But once you kind of feel that out, really start working on the sequencing from ground to hip to shoulder. Because if so many volleyball players, they're so focused and their whole brain is in their hand. It's like, dude, there's no power in your hand to begin
100%.
with, whether it's stiff or loose. If you're not funneling any energy, it's going to feel off. And when you had a good hit versus a bad hit, probably wasn't because your hand was any different. It's because you funneled the chain a little better. And so, but if I had to say, I'd say a semi-stiff hand. So not like super irradiating your whole body, but not like totally dead, like semi-stiff to start. Now what I do, I go completely dead personally. I have more ulnar and radial deviation when I hit like that.
Is that because of spin? Or
and there's pronation and supination, but as far as wrist extension and flexion or hand stiffness, I don't think about it too much.
Okay.
But usually those things cover the hand stiffness.
But you do spin your ball though.
Like, yeah, you want top spin. You want true 12 to 6 top spin as much as possible. So you want top spin. Side spin sucks because it's just going to go out of bounds. You want it to curl and go down in the court.
So show me how you feel like you're getting top spin.
And so a lot of I mean, there's kind of different ways, and I wanted to go over in a later video angles and spin because it's a huge part of volleyball. I know baseball is only throwing in that straight line at the pitcher, but there's certainly all kinds of
we're
spin
creating
on
all
the ball.
kinds of movement.
And in volleyball, there's the same thing. So the most easy way to conceptualize topspin is like your 12 to 6 curveball or your like tennis kick serve, where you're coming over and supinating. Like that's obviously going to create topspin. Surprisingly hard to create.
So you're trying to get here. Are you trying to get to a certain position of it, or just
get
straight
it on the blade of your hand?
Okay, so you're trying to get over
on
here.
Supinating, or non-supinating, on curveball spin.
Okay, so if you get it there.
True thumb up spin.
Okay.
But if you're trying to go thumb down spin, I try and get it on the other part of my hand.
So what does that do to the ball
pad.
when you go thumb down spin?
Thumb down spin, it isn't always going to, like this is going to have a little bit of side. Like you're trying to get true 12-6, but usually it's a little side. And this way is the same thing. You want true 12-6, but it's probably going to be a little bit of
And that's when you want to shoot off, right?
And you want to, you want to come here and
that creates deception, right? You're moving it.
Yeah, and one big thing is volleyball people, they're like, do everything the exact same, and then at the last second, just do this, and it's just going to miraculously go there consistently. And to me, it's much more, how do you create a whip kind of from the hips, but especially from once you get to the trunk extension phase and after, that's when you start picking your direction. Because if you just do this, and I usually take my shirt and I'll say, if you just take the last 3 inches of that, you do the exact same thing and just go like this or this, there's no real power behind it.
Well, here's the thing.
So you need
I think
a more whip that's kind of starts more from the arm, and then this finishes it off. But I also wanted to hear, like, basically, and what we're talking about is when you hit it, what is your wrist or forearm doing, right?
Yeah.
And in baseball, usually on a fastball, I'd want to talk about that, is usually you're kind of releasing, but you're pronating. That's really important, right?
Well, there's a lot of variables here, and I think all this applies really well, is supination, thumb back, pronation, thumb down. That's how your forearm moves.
Supinate, pronate,
The quicker you do this in throwing something, a football, a baseball,
volleyball,
the quicker
tennis,
the ball spins.
Badminton,
So
javelin.
this is driving the spin of the ball. Now, that's an end over end spin. Your spin is
both.
Bottom up.
We want both. We want this one and this one, and also the knuckleball for float serves.
So if you're trying to create a lot of spin, you need a hit through pronation.
You need a crap ton of pronation, or like the whatever you do on a curveball. I've never figured out a curveball.
Well, what a curveball is you're saying supinated, and you're hitting on the side of the, well, the top for you, top and side, and you're trying to bring the ball over.
But do you pronate through a curveball?
Well, after it's gone, after you leave it.
After you release it,
then you pronate.
Then you pronate.
Okay.
So I've always thought it's so counterintuitive because you're hitting it like this way, but then after you hit it, you do that.
Well, the body does that because it's action reaction. Let's go. What's the action? The action is I turn and lay back. So what forces are hitting the wrist when you turn and lay back? Supinating forces. So the thumb is being pulled back. You're resisting that. You're resisting that through firing the pronators. So that's going to be the reaction, because the action is it's pulling you supinated, and then when everything uncoils, it's going to fire you into pronation.
That's so, for like a screwball or a fastball, but for a
every
curveball,
single pitch is that.
How? But then where is the?
You're holding supination longer.
You just hold it longer,
and then it comes out at the end.
That makes sense.
But the thing is,
I've tried like laying back pronated, and it like.
Well, it kills the action reaction.
It protects the elbow, but it kills the action reaction. You lose a lot of.
Okay, so here's the injury problem with elbows.
We're getting a little into the weeds right now, but that's really where the hand stuff is. It's a much more advanced level of.
But here's the injury problems with the elbow. So if you have elbow injuries, it can come from two things. If you're firing into extension aggressively, you're just slamming the olecranon. That's the tip of the ulnar bone.
So it's like a tricep extension instead of just momentum taking the hand, you're really forcing that.
Well,
extension.
if I'm external internally rotating, I'm rolling, I have deceleration time.
While straightening your arm.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, the arm, the energy is going to, so what you're doing is you're doing this to this,
it's this,
but the
guys.
kinetic,
it's not this, it's this.
But the kinetic energy is bringing it up and then back around.
Yeah.
You're not going like this.
Right.
You're just doing this, and the energy is bringing it up. Okay. But if you're forcing it and your elbow's forward, you're slamming your olecranon. You're slamming into. I lost it. You're slamming into the bone, and you can actually break the bone. You can also start damaging the tricep because there's no deceleration time here. It's either stop, boom, I can't go any farther. So I'm just slamming all my forces into the bone. That's not good for you. And so if I can go in rotation, I have time to decelerate. That's why this is a healthier motion. But two, I create more pronation acceleration. I don't create pronation acceleration. I feel like I'm more just pushing or flexing and slapping the ball.
You don't want this. In volleyball, I'm not a fan of this. It's the hello, goodbye, or pronate, supinate. You keep your hand pretty flat, in my opinion.
Well, the point is you're just
force it, but you're not trying to do this.
You're timing when your arm gets to neutral. Supinate, neutral, pronate. So that's the timing of it. And obviously, if you want to stay supinated and get over the ball, you're trying to delay the timing to neutral. If you're trying to get inside the ball and push it that way, you're trying to get into pronation even quicker.
Yes.
So you're just messing with this. The only thing is be aware of when you're supinated back, your bones are more apart, so your UCL is less stable.
It's very rare. It's surprisingly extremely rare in volleyball, but I'm one of the few who have heard it. More of the injuries are in the shoulder department, but yeah, like Brent's saying, when you supinate,
there's more stress there.
The UCL.
Yeah, so it's less stable. When we turn this around, it crosses the bones, and it's like a towel, tightening a towel. That is now more stable for forces, but you kill the rotational movement of this, which is spinning your ball. So someone who's creating a lot of spin is doing a lot of this at the end.
And there's also another way to protect your elbow is Phil Dahlhauser showed me this. Pinky and ring finger have muscles that apparently cover the UCL
right here,
sort of. If you squeeze them hard,
you're tightening them. Yeah.
But like he said, the more you kind of do stuff like that to protect the elbow, you might run into some lower speeds.
Yeah,
and other unforeseen problems.
And if you have injury questions or anything, we could do an endless video on injury. Injury is a very in-depth conversation because it affects how you're using every sequence we just showed you.
Great. So yeah, that whole video I know is a bit in-depth, but we're talking about the forearm there, what I often call pinky thumb separation, where they're separated, now they're together, and then the thumb leads. That's what I'm talking about with this video, what we're talking about. I think next video we're gonna go over how are we gonna get different angles on the ball. How do you hit different ways? Arm slot, where you're hitting it is your arm slot, where contact point is, all the stuff around that. Does that sound good? All right, that'll be the next video.